What's going on, everybody? GemMint here, and today we're going to take a look at the entire IDW Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles run, collected over 18 deluxe editions. Plus, we're going to take a look at the source book, so stay tuned. So back in 2009, Nickelodeon bought the rights to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and IDW picked up the license to publish comic books just 2 years later. We have the complete run collected in these deluxe editions, and we're going to take a look at them briefly, since this would be a super long video otherwise. We'll start with volume 1, we'll work our way to volume 18, and again, we'll take a look at the source book, which acts like an encyclopedia to the whole series. Volume 1 features Raphael on the cover with the red spine. They all have that kind of katana wrap theme going on with the spines. And then here we have the back. So Volume 1 collecting the first 12 issues of the series, plus it has the one-shots called Micro Series, which is a nod to the original Mirage title. So you have the Raph, Mikey, Donatello, Leonardo, and Splinter one-shots collected in this book as well. Let's check out some of the interior here. You get a nice shot of feudal Japan, and then the table of contents. And this theme will be consistent throughout all 18 volumes. You can see which issues on what page and who were the creators. So this was written by co-creator Kevin Eastman along with Tom Waltz for the first 100 issues. You have art here from Dan Duncan, Andy Kuhn, Sophie Campbell, Renor Pattison, and more. Jumping into issue 1, so they throw us into this universe where the Turtles are already the Turtles, with Splinter watching over them. It introduces new characters like Old Hob, who is a disgruntled mutant, and then they eventually get into this kind of retelling of the origin. This is kind of a reboot, and it kind of has my favorite change to the TMNT origin. So you have Hamato Yoshi, who we know becomes Splinter, and Oroku Saki, but they're both part of the Foot Clan. Here's a look at Baxter Stockman, who is kind of the first antagonist here. So they go back, they're in the Foot Clan, they go after the same woman, and eventually Oroku Saki has Hamato Yoshi and his entire family killed. Now this is back in the day during feudal Japan, and they end up being reincarnated. Their souls are reborn in the body of these mutated turtles and Rat. I kind of thought that was a really nice touch and kind of a better way to explain how they're a family and how they're related, rather than whoever you touched last and then the ooze changes you, or whatever the cartoon and the action figure line was doing. So here's the Turtles. It starts them off all in the red bandanas as well. So it's a reboot, it's a retelling, it's a new TMNT series. And here is the first volume. Here's another new character that we get introduced to. Her name is Alapex. And then each of the deluxe editions come with a ribbon, which is used as the built-in bookmark. Here we see the return of Master Shredder and then his granddaughter Karai. If you're looking to pick up any hardcovers, collected editions, omnibus, or deluxe editions, you got to check out panelboundcomics.com, formerly known as Organic Price Books. They offer these books heavily discounted upon release. You can pre-order. You could assure your books will arrive safely with great packaging and fast shipping. Not only can you save $2 off every order by using code GEMMINT at checkout, but they have a 60% off all Image titles that's going on until November 17th. Make sure to check out Panel Bound Comics. But if you're overseas, if you're in the EU, have no fear, Comics Bugle is here. They also offer heavy discounted prices. You can pre-order your hardcovers. You don't have to pay for the book until it's ready to ship. They have amazing packaging made from recyclable material. They also offer free shipping with no taxes or import fees. And you can save $5 off your first order by using code GEMMINT at checkout. If you're in the EU, you gotta check out comicsbugle.com. Moving on to Volume 2, this cover has Master Splinter, and it has this kind of grayish spine. Volume 2 collects issues 13 through 20, and then it has the one-shots for Casey Jones, April O'Neil, Fugitoid, Krang, and Baxter Stockman, plus it has the Secret History of the Foot Clan miniseries, which I want to say is like a 4-issue series, and we'll be able to see that in the table of contents here. The Krang stuff, the Dimension X, all that was great. They really fleshed out a lot of the concepts and ideas that were introduced in the original series. So here's a table of contents. As you can see, Casey Jones, April O'Neil, Fugitoid, and then The Secret History of the Foot Clan, that 4-issue miniseries like I mentioned. So here it goes, jumping into the Casey Jones one-shot, his relationship with Raphael. And then here's the Krang and Dimension X stuff, him meeting Baxter Stockman, which is similar to the original Mirage series. Kind of a cool redesign on the body for Krang and all of his kind. The cover for Volume 3 featuring Leonardo with a matching blue spine. Volume 3 collects issues 21 through 28, and then you have the Old Hob one-shot, the Alapex one-shot, Karai, Hun, Bebop and Rocksteady, and the Shredder micro-series one-shots. It also has the 2012 annual. Check this one out, open it up. And then as you can see, again, the table of contents. Still with the same creative team, Kevin Eastman, who created the Turtles along with Peter Laird. This is Kevin Eastman doing interiors. So he did a lot of the story, and then he did contribute to some covers and some interior art as well, as you can see. Casey Jones here, nice double-page spread. This is the longest ongoing TMNT series. Here goes Kitsune. And they really brought in, again, a slew of new characters, and they eventually bring back like every character that you've ever seen from TMNT lore. Volume 4 featuring Donatello on the cover with the matching purple spine. And then this one collects issues 29 through 37. And then you have the Utrom Empire miniseries along with the 2014 annual. So the Utrom being the race of aliens that Krang is from. Here we have Slash. So they did something different with Slash as well. Much different than what they did in the old cartoons. He is actually like this big kind of bruiser of a character, not too smart. I always liked Slash. He was one of my favorite toys back in the day as a kid. And they kind of just make him like this big, dumb lug. Here you got the Triceratons, the other aliens from Dimension X, Fugitoid. More backstory. They really dig deep into the Krang Utrom stuff with that Utrom Empire storyline. Casey Jones and April O'Neil, they end up forming a relationship as well in this series. Getting introduced to some more mutants, all these different types of animals. It's a war back on the home planet of Krang. More Kevin Eastman art here. And then Hun. This is Casey Jones' father, the leader of the Purple Dragon Clan. So that was a cool story as well. Then you get the Metalhead stuff. Donatello creates Metalhead here. And then here you can see Old Hob with Slash, who is a huge turtle. Volume 5 features April O'Neil on the cover with that yellow spine. Got some cool nods on her pins. Casey Jones, some pizza, some cheese for Splinter, and of course the turtle shells. So there goes that yellow spine. And then this one collects issues 38 through 44, and it has the TMNT Ghostbuster crossover. So this Deluxe Edition set really collecting everything that was published during this IDW run. And then here you can see in the table of contents, actually Turtles in Time, you get the 4-issue miniseries here, then from the regular ongoing, and then the TMNT Ghostbuster tie-in. So you get every little miniseries, as goofy as some of them are. I preferred the main storyline on this one, but how could you not include everything, right? So Turtles in Time, giving a nod to the old arcade and Super Nintendo game. A lot of Old Hob. He was a major character during this series. So here's some Casey Jones April interactions. Donatello tinkering with Metalhead, which would play a major role. Bebop and Rocksteady, some of my favorites from when I was a kid. And then you have the Ghostbusters tie-in stuff. Volume 6 featuring none other than Master Shredder on the front with like a grayish kind of spine. And then looking at the back, collecting issues 45 through 50 of the ongoing series. It has the 2015 Free Comic Book Day issue, and then the Casey and April miniseries, as well as the Mutanimals miniseries. I missed that one in the front. The Mighty Mutanimals. That's when we started getting crazy stuff back in the Archie days with like Mondo Gecko and what is it, Ray Fillet and all that kind of stuff. So here's the Mutanimals jumping into the main ongoing, the Free Comic Book Day, and then Casey in April is a 4-issue miniseries. Here goes Mondo Gecko, the crab guy, running with Old Hob. They did a good job of showcasing the Mutanimals in the most recent TMNT animated movie as well. I think it was like, what, Mutant Mayhem or something? Yeah, the Mutagen Man. He was one of my favorite toys as a kid. So yeah, this is what I was talking about when I was saying they really brought every character essentially from the toys that you remembered, plus new characters like this pigeon guy. This is when Slash decides they're going to be the Mighty Mutanimals. So then you got this story breaking mutants out of prisons, coming back to a Fugitoid with Donnie. Baxter Stockman still one of the bad guys behind the scenes here. Here's the Free Comic Book Day issue. They really were setting up the Metalhead thing. I was a big Metalhead fan. That was also one of my favorite toys as a kid. Metalhead and Slash were probably my favorites. Mighty Mutanimals fighting against Bebop and Rocksteady. Oh, then we get the showdown between Splinter and the Shredder. Volume 7 finally gives us Mikey on the cover with a kind of yellowish orange spine. Kind of similar to the April color, but, you know, orange for Mikey. This one collects issues 51 through 64 of the ongoing series, and that's it. So a little bit of a pause with the mini-series and crossovers during this time here. So as you can see, just 51 through 64, the aftermath of Splinter and Shredder. If I recall, I want to say this is where Splinter takes over the Foot Clan, which causes a rift between the Turtles on whether or not that's something that they should be doing. So he goes some more Casey Jones action, the Mighty Mutanimals, wishing Mikey a happy birthday. Volume 8 featuring Bebop and Rocksteady on the cover, back to the purple. They kind of weren't really consistent with the different coloring of the spines. They probably could have did a better job with that, but nonetheless, this one collects Bebop and Rocksteady Destroy Everything, that mini-series, along with the TMNT Universe issues 1 through 8, and then TMNT 65 and 66. So Volume 7 collecting nothing but the main series, and then this one only collecting 2 issues from the main series, but giving us that TMNT Universe stuff. We have different creators on these miniseries as well. So Ben Bates and Dustin Weaver on the Bebop and Rocksteady miniseries. You've got art by Ben Bates as well, Sophie Campbell and others. So here we are opening up to the Bebop and Rocksteady stuff. Pretty cool miniseries, a lot of action. I like the art throughout this entire run, even though you have a handful of artists. Some of it being a little bit more lighthearted, and then some of them being more gritty. We've got some technodromes going on here. Let's move past Bebop and Rocksteady. Oh, yeah, then you got Leatherhead, the mutated crocodile. Volume 9 gets my boy Slash with this darker yellow spine. Again, you had April with the yellow, and then Slash here. This one collecting issues 67 through 72 of the ongoing series, and then the TMNT Universe issues 9 through 15, plus the TMNT Usagi Yojimbo crossover by Stan Sakai, who I first was introduced to through the action figures. Who is this mutated rabbit? Well, that was a whole other story. So here we have the table of contents once again. Slash on the cover of issue 67. This is the art style that would kind of follow and be pretty consistent moving forward, with like the big exaggerated hands and feet, those small circular heads. Still got the Mighty Mutanimals going on. Mondo Gecko. He was one of my favorites too, Mondo Gecko. Slash. I think they ended up turning him bad in this stretch here. Got this robotic cyborg guy. I want to go to the Usagi Yojimbo stuff. Art by Stan Sakai, colors by Tom Luth. Volume 10 featuring Krang on the cover with the matching pink spine. This one collecting TMNT Universe issues 19 and 20, then 73 through 75 of the main ongoing. It's got the Dimension X miniseries, and then the TMNT Ghostbusters 2 crossover miniseries. So another meetup with the Ghostbusters. Fugitoid here on the cover page. Krang once again. Here goes our table of contents. You got Raphael teaming up with the Fox, Alopex. Some more mutants being introduced. This kind of scorpion mutant. Oh, the neutrinos from Dimension X. So you get to see them. Again, they brought basically every character into this series. Here's the Dimension X miniseries stuff with the neutrinos. And then the Ghostbusters second team up. Volume 11 gives us Casey Jones on the cover with another kind of gray spine. This one collecting the TMNT Universe issues 16 through 19, 21 through 23, and then 76 through 84 of the main series. Then we have a Donatello macro series, the Rat King here. So let's take a look. Table of contents, macro series for Donatello at the back. It's a macro series because it's just this big oversized Donatello story. Volume 12 gives us Old Hob on the cover with another purple spine. This one collecting the macro series for Michelangelo and Leonardo, TMNT Universe 23 through 25, and then 85 through 89 of the main ongoing. Then we get Bebop and Rocksteady Hit the Road miniseries. Let's take a look here. Table of contents. Yeah, here, so it is basically just an oversized one-shot for these characters. So here's the Mikey macro. A lot of story being told here. TMNT Universe, which is basically just another ongoing title running consecutively with the main storyline. More stuff with Krang and the Triceratons, and then the Bebop and Rocksteady story. Volume 13 features Jennika on the cover, who was introduced back in issue 51. She's actually the second female Ninja Turtle that was ever created, the first one being Venus. So this has the yellow spine to match the yellow ninja. And then the back here features Jennika again. She's got kind of Wolverine claws. This one collects issues 90 through 100. Plus, it has the 2019 Free Comic Book Day, the Raphael Macro Series, and the Shredder in Hell miniseries, which is crazy. So let's open this one up, check out the table of contents. And then here we are. So it starts with that Raph miniseries, moving on to the main ongoing. So as you can see, we're at the Battle of New York, which was kind of a nod to the original Mirage series as well. Back to New York and all that stuff. So here we can see a lot of action. Still have Alopex running around here. Metalhead once again. Here goes issue 68. So City at War is the storyline. And this would end up ending Kevin Eastman's tenure on this run here. And then here's the Shredder in Hell. Some great art in this miniseries as well. Here we go. City at War, the last issue with issue 100. Check this out. It looks like Krang's got himself a new body. Alopex graces the cover of Volume 14 with a baby blue spine. So this is post Kevin Eastman. You have issues 101 through 112, plus the Jennika 3-issue miniseries. All right, let's check it out. So the next era and the final era of the IDW TMNT run. Oh, it also has the 2020 annual. So you have script and story by Sophie Campbell. She takes the reins here for a while. Here's issue 101. Now we have the 5 Turtles with Jennika. And then you have the corruption of Leonardo. Leonardo goes bad and becomes a weapon of the Foot Clan dressed in black. So kind of giving like Last Ronin vibes, but this is prior to that, chronologically and publication as well. You have the Leatherhead Krang mashup still. It's pretty gross. Some more mutants. Got Old Hob again with Koya, the Falcon mutant. Still with the ribbons for the bookmarks. Introducing yet another turtle with Lita. Get a glimpse of Lita in the future. Volume 15 with Shredder's granddaughter, Karai, on the cover. Oroko Karai, who becomes the leader of the Foot Clan. This volume collects issues 113 through 124 and the Jenica 2 miniseries. So we haven't really discussed this, but you get a nice synopsis on the back of each deluxe edition on what stories are collected here or what's going on in the run. Here we have the table of contents. Starts off with the Jenica miniseries part 2. And then eventually back into the main storyline. So after the whole City at War stuff, a mutagen bomb went off in New York City. Old Hob was the one who set it off. At this point, Baxter Stockman is the mayor. I mentioned Lita, that albino turtle who gets revealed to be a time traveler. So another new mutant here with this little piggy. Here's Lita once again. Volume 16 gives us Baxter Stockman with one of the Mousers on the cover with a kind of bluish, grayish spine. This one collecting issues 125 through 132, both the 2021 annual and the 2022 annual. Then you have the Armageddon game opening moves 1 through 2 and the 2022 free comic book day issue. Did we not just see that in a previous deluxe edition? Anyway. All right, so here we go. So the Rat King, kind of the big bad towards the end of this series. Nice double page spread. Got some more mutant animals, of course. Got some more Dimension X stuff, different art style on that. The Armageddon game is where we would see the end of both Krang and Chirel. This would be the destruction of the borders of Mutant Town, and it'll bring us Donatello traveling to the future to face a beast called Armagon, who's able to devour and destroy entire timelines. The Rat King graces the cover of Volume 17 with that blood red spine. Collecting Teen Spirit from the TMNT 40th anniversary comic book. Then you get issues 133 through 137 of the ongoing, the Alliance 5-issue series, and then the Armageddon game 6-issue miniseries. So kind of a Deadly Alliance team up here with the Rat King and with Krang. We have the table of contents. So you can see how it's in publication order. You'll get the Teen Spirit story, Armageddon Game 1, issue 133, Armageddon Game 2, the Alliance 1. So that's kind of the mapping on this. Meant to be published in reading order. Some more neutrinos from the Dimension X. Still got the ribbon here. Here's Alliance 1 with Karai, Oroko Karai. Great art in this series. We mentioned Venus earlier, and I think she first appeared in one of those live-action TMNT TV shows, right? But here she is here in the future, in the Armageddon game. Donatello finds her, and he has to take down the beast Armagon. And then the final volume, Volume 18, featuring Venus on the cover with that very light blue spine. She's on the back here as well. Completing the Armageddon game with issues 7 and 8. The Alliance issue 6, the 2023 annual, and then the final issues 138 through 150 of the main ongoing, and then the Untold Destiny of the Foot Clan miniseries for one of the largest deluxe editions, I want to say. So let's take a look here. Here we have the table of contents. All these deluxe editions were really packed full of content. I mean, even like the first volume, IDW would rebrand and reboot the series with Jason Aaron starting it off. And it picks up on some of the continuity, but it's essentially a rebirth. The story ends here. And then the new volume, or Volume 2, with Jason Aaron, you can kind of just pick it up as a jumping on point. But here are the final issues. I'm not going to give any spoilers, but just to give you an idea of what it collects. And in case you're confused with all the different characters that are introduced, all the different factions, the locations, that's where the source book comes into play. So this one was released, I want to say before volume 18, but here we are, the only book that has a green spine, source book on the spine, and here's the back. So here we have all 5 turtles. And this is a really helpful book. It was actually helpful for this video. The table of contents showing you everything that went down in ancient Japan with the Foot Clan, with Hamato Yoshi, Oroko Saki, Tang Shen, which was Shredder's wife. Then you have the origins of the TMNT, so all those characters, including the mutants that would play a major role in this story, Old Hob, Alopex, and such. Then you have threats and friends from New York, like Baxter Stockman, like Slash, like Hun, Casey Jones' father, Oroko Kairi with Shredder, the Bebop and Rocksteady. Then you have the Mutanimals. So just to kind of give you an idea, different locations in New York, the sewer layer, the church. Here's the friends and foes when it comes to Alopex, April O'Neil, of course, the Northampton farmhouse, which is taken from the original Mirage series as well. You got Hun, Bludgeon, the hammerhead shark mutant. Koya is that falcon mutant. Pigeon P, that's right, that was his name. Seymour Guts is the mutagen man. That's a funny name. So this talks about the fall of the Foot Clan. So this is actually a really helpful book to have and kind of cross-reference with the stories throughout the main series. All right, guys, there we have it. All 18 volumes plus the source book for the IDW TMNT run. Let me know what you thought about this run in the comments down below. What you think about the deluxe editions. As always, I appreciate you watching. Stay minty fresh. Peace.